Can you tell who is an ariya? I was on a retreat in 2019. It was a 1-month retreat in Myanmar, and I was sharing a kuti with 2 other yogis. So the 3 of us shared this kuti for an entire month. And I thought that one of them was an ariya, because she behaved perfectly throughout the retreat. You know, she doesn't talk to anyone, she does her chores, and she meditates diligently. You know, she attended all the meditation sessions. She didn't complain even when she was having such a bad cough for about 3 weeks during the retreat. But she still managed to meditate quite well, and she could sit for I could see about 2 to 3 hours. So she had attained some very deep absorption, very high meditative states in the jhanas. And she was so polite and helpful and humble throughout the whole retreat. So I thought, oh, I'm so fortunate, you know, to be residing with someone who's a serious practitioner and who's an ariya during the retreat. The reason why I think she's ariya is because she behaved just like the other ariyas that I saw during the retreat. And there were quite a few ariyas during the retreat whom I happen to know and recognize. And so it was quite a happy cohabitation, you know, together with her and the other yogi. Then after the retreat, we didn't communicate for very much, even though we knew each other. Then this year, I met up with her, and then I found out that she's not an ariya. While her behavior was perfect and consistent during retreat, she didn't continue that behavior after she came out of the retreat. You know, it's during the retreat she was a different person. After she came out, she's back to her usual angry, obstinate and irascible self. So I realized my mistake, and it was a bit sad to see that, because I could tell that she is a very good Buddhist and meditator, and she helped to translate a lot of Dhamma materials, you know, from Chinese to English, English to Chinese. She's very talented, gifted, and very serious about Dhamma practice. But you see, even the ariya can get things wrong. So who really is an ariya? An ariya refers to an enlightened being, okay? Someone who has reached at least one of the stages of enlightenment. There are basically 4 stages of enlightenment, okay, from Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami to Arhat. These are all enlightened beings, and anything below that means that you are Puthujjana. Puthujjana refers to ignorant beings or fools. And how do we segregate between ariyas and non-ariyas? It's very simple. Ariyas have seen and realized anicca, dukkha, and anatta. What is anicca, dukkha, anatta? Anicca refers to impermanence, dukkha refers to suffering, and anatta is non-self. So ariyas have seen, understood, and realized these 3 marks of existence. These are three characteristics that we see in all forms of existence. And it's quite easy to see anicca and dukkha. We all know what is impermanence, right? Your thoughts, your feelings, your body changes, and you see something that comes up, even your perception changes. So there isn't really anything that is long lasting. Okay, you can be angry at one person and then later on become happy at the other person. Okay, most likely it's the other way. At first you are happy and pleased with someone, then you become angry because that person somehow changed according to your perception. So that's impermanence. And dukkha, suffering, you can see that life is suffering. The whole of life is suffering. Okay? With birth, sickness, old age, and death. You can see all this suffering. Some people like to celebrate birthdays and stuff, but is birthday really a happy occasion? You come crying into this world with nothing, okay? And then you're being slapped on your bottom, and then after that you have to grow up, and then you become sick, and then you become old, and then you die. So isn't this suffering? So it's quite easy to see impermanence and suffering. Then the last characteristic, anatta, non-self. This is the hardest to see. Okay. And only Aryas have seen and realized it. The Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, they have all seen this to a certain extent. Okay, it's the Arahant who has completely seen non-self through all this. Arahant is 100%. Okay, Anagami is like 90%. Sakadagami is like 50%, and Sotapanna is about 30%. Okay, that they have seen non-self. So why is non-self so important? It's important because you think that there's this self, or this soul, or this spirit, whatever you call it, this core being, something that abides within you, that doesn't change. But there is no such thing. A human being is made up of 5 components, which are the 5 aggregates. Okay, because it's just these 5 aggregates that come together to form a human being or some form of life. So what are these 5 aggregates? They are perception, feelings, intention or volition, consciousness, and the material body. That's all. The body is made, human being is made up of just these 5 aggregates. Okay? Vijnana, consciousness; Vedana, feelings; Sanya, perception; Sankhara, volition or intention; and Namarupa, which is the body. There isn't anything apart from these 5 aggregates. There's no another external entity that controls these 5. No, it's just the coming together of these 5 components that make up a person. So and Arya realizes this. They see that there is no entity behind all this. That is called the self, or the ego. Okay, but how many Aryas are there who actually can see all this? It's very hard to identify an Arya because they usually keep quiet. they're very humble. They tend to try not to have too much dealings with the secular world. They prefer a quiet and peaceful existence because the world is not pleasant. Most people are not pleasant. So it's quite hard to encounter an ariya. It's actually far easier to identify who is not an ariya, because 99.999% of the world is not Aryan. You can find Aryas, more Aryas generally, in retreats and monastic centers, because this is where the people who are serious about Dhamma practice, they will go to practice meditation, to practice the holy life, and to devote their entire life to the learning, practice, and realization of the Dhamma. So, how many Aryas do you think there are in this world? Very few. Really very few. During the time of Buddha, there was a lot. When Buddha lived and he thought, there were many Arahants, Anagamis, Sakagamis, and Sotapannas. And they can be monastics or householders. Arya doesn't differentiate between this type of status. Okay, it's just the level of realization that you have on non-self. So during Buddha's time, there were a lot. Okay, and because Buddha is exceptionally skillful, he's incredible. He has incredible powers. Okay, but he doesn't brag about them or show them off. He only uses what he knows to help people to understand the Dhamma. So during Buddha's time, there were so many. Then after Buddha passed away, the numbers started dwindling, but there are still Aryas, and these Aryas, they teach. They continue teaching the Dhamma. Buddha established the Sangha. The Sangha, which refers to the monastic men and women, and also the laymen and laywomen. The monastics are called the bhikkhus or bhikkhunis, and lay people are called upasikas and upasakas. So, but you can find Aryans among these groups. And now that it's been 2,500 years since Buddha passed away, how many Aryas do you think there are left? I think there are very few, because very few people want to learn and practice the Dhamma. I estimate there are probably less than 100 Arhants in this world. There still are, but very few. Yeah, those probably less than 100. But the whole group of Aryas, okay, which includes Sotapanna up to Arhan, there could be maybe 1,000. Yeah, not likely to be more than that. So can you imagine, in a world population of almost 8 billion, you get like maybe 1,000, max 2,000 Aryans. How likely do you think it's possible for you to meet one? It's very hard and very rare. And even if you meet one, can you recognize them? Can you tell who they are? And are you willing to learn from them? Stick close to them, learn the Dhamma, practice the Dhamma, and become an Arya yourself. Very few people want that. They just want to keep on chasing the secular pleasures of the world. They don't want the super mundane pleasure, or should say super mundane happiness of liberation. So if you come across one, especially in person, and you can tell that they are Aryan, stick close to them, okay, and become one yourself. then you'll be able to recognize other ariyas. Take care. Thank you for watching. Sukihotu.